Truth or Fate means Vedeka Bell by the Bit Board. Vedeka, good evening to you. The latest Jeffrey Epstein file dump saw a number of high-profile individuals named, one of them being Bill Gates. The documents allege new details of his ties to the late sex offender. Tell us what we've found.
Well, Mark, in that massive Epstein file dump released by the Department of Justice, 2 emails written to Jeffrey Epstein from Epstein himself mentioned the Microsoft founder, Bill Gates. Now, it's unclear if these emails were ever sent to Gates themselves, but in it, this email, the first email dated from 18th of July 2013, Epstein writes in this email to himself that he can't believe Gates has chosen to disregard their friendship built over the last 6 years. He also says that Gates's now ex-wife Melinda insists on the pair not communicating unless someone is copied into the email or present in there. Now, he also says that Gates implored him to delete the emails regarding Gates's STD. Also a request that Epstein provided antibiotics that he could discreetly give to then-wife Melinda, and to also delete the description of his penis. Now, there is also another word that is redacted here that Epstein says he is not to refer to, and that must remain between the two of us. Now, there's a second email, again, written to himself, literally dated 1 hour, roughly, since that last email. And in this one, Epstein says that he was caught up in a severe marital dispute between Melinda and Bill Gates. He says that he's wrongly acquiesced into participating in things ranging from morally inappropriate to ethically unsound. He also mentions helping Bill to get drugs, dealing with consequences of sex with Russian girls, and facilitating illicit trysts with married women. Now, he ends this email admitting to moral failure, to ask forgiveness so that he can move on with his life. But that's what Epstein said in 2 emails to himself. And as I said, it's unclear if Bill Gates ever received those emails and if they were actually sent to him.
OK, so tell us what Bill Gates has been saying about this inclusion in the Epstein files.
Yes, well, there has been a response from both Gates's spokesperson and himself. Quickly in the aftermath, Bill Gates's spokesperson called the claims absurd and completely false. He also said that Epstein was a proven disgruntled liar, and that the only thing these documents demonstrate is Epstein was frustrated that he couldn't have an ongoing relationship with Gates. Therefore, these are the lengths that he would go to entrap and defame. But Gates today has spoken out for himself to Australian TV channel 9 News. He said that the email that Jeffrey Epstein wrote was never sent, and he says it's false. He also implies that maybe he was trying to attack him in some way, but he did say that every moment I spent with him I regret, and I apologise for having done that. Now, he also said he'd met Jeffrey Epstein in 2011, that they had shared several dinners to discuss investments, and he said that the goal for him was always to raise money from Jeffrey Epstein's rich network of friends to raise money for his Global Health Foundation. Now, Bill Gates has not been accused of any wrongdoing by any of Epstein's victims, and this appearance in the files doesn't necessarily prove him of any criminal wrongdoing. However, I think it's important to mention that the multi-billion-dollar Gates Foundation has long time championed the well-being of young girls, and by the time that the pair met in 2011, according to Bill Gates' own account, Epstein was already a registered sex offender who had already done jail time. So I think it's important to also add that context in there. He might not be, this might not prove any wrongdoing by Gates, but there is still some moral blurred lines with that in context.
Oh, indeed, the company that you keep often says as much about you as about that company itself. Finally, Vedeka, Melinda Gates recently appeared on a podcast where she was asked about her ex-husband's name in the files. Give us a sense of what she had to say.
Well, she has made her disapproval of Jeffrey Epstein and her ex-husband's friendship with him perfectly clear. She recently gave an interview to an NPR podcast and said that Bill being named brought up some painful times in her marriage. She also went on to say that she feels unbelievable sadness for all of the girls who suffered, and that the questions need to be answered by the men who were involved, including her ex-husband and not her. But she also said she was happy to be away from, quote, all the muck that was there. Now, Bill and Melinda did divorce in 2021, and at the time, US newspapers reported that Melinda Gates actually set those divorce proceedings in motion back in 2019 after the relationship between Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein became public. But that is what we know about this so far. Whether Bill Gates will be called to testify like the Clintons remains to be seen.